8 tons of lobsters, 1.2 million in just one trip. Sounds like a dream come true, but what's behind that number? This is not a story of luck. It is a story of hard work in the cold sea where the waves are as high as walls and the work never stops day and night. So how can a single ship rake in millions of dollars in less than a week? And what makes this lobster so sought after around the world? Go discover how harvesting 8 tons of lobster can generate 1.2 million in one trip. Not all shrimp are created equal, and not all seas produce million-dollar crustacean warriors. In the cold waters of Maine and Massachusetts, where the water is clean, deep, and rich in nutrients, lobsters grow slowly but surely, each piece of meat a product of time and natural stress. This is not a farm product. It is a living gift from the ocean. From June to the end of the year, the boats set sail. Journeys lasting weeks with one goal in mind: to bring in tons of wild lobsters of the highest quality and value. But behind those 8 tons and 1.2 million are strict size regulations, production limits, and a non-negotiable sense of sustainability. Because only discipline and respect for the ocean can keep this industry alive. And this is how a sea voyage can bring in more than $1 million, not only by skill, but also by the philosophy of survival between man and sea. Behind the $2 million figure is technology, engineering, and steel. This is not just fishing. It is a battle with the ocean. Under the roar of the waves crashing against the ship, each cast of the net is a life-or-death battle. On the icy deck, the fishermen still stubbornly hold on, not only to survive, but to snatch each precious tuna. Each trap is a strategy. From hydrographic maps to the intuition of seasoned fishermen, each trap is placed on the deep sea floor where lobsters hide among rocks and algae. Then they wait 24 to 48 hours for the bait to spread and the crustacean warriors to come. When the cages are pulled up, by hand or with a winch, it's the moment all the hard work comes to a head. Each lobster is inspected on the spot. Big enough, no eggs, no injuries. If not, back again. Not a single creature is wasted. Each lobster is carefully checked on site with a specialized measuring tape. Only those that are of the right size, egg-free and healthy are kept. The rest are released back into the sea as a commitment to preserving the ecosystem. Before putting them in the bucket, fishermen tie rubber bands around the shrimp's claws to prevent them from harming each other. This is not just a technical procedure, but also a respect for the living gold of the ocean. Lobsters are neatly arranged in crates lined with moist seaweed or cold towels, kept moist and temperature controlled with ice. When they reach shore, they are still alive and well, ready for high-end dining tables around the world. And it's that precision, patience, and respect for nature, not quantity. That's how one trip can bring in 1.2 million while keeping the ocean alive. Catching 8 tons of lobsters is just the beginning. To turn them into 1.2 million in one trip every step after landing must be precise down to the last detail. Once off the boat, lobsters are put through 2 separate processing stages, catering to both the high-end market and modern consumer demand. Qualified individuals are carefully selected, weighed, checked for vital condition, because only the most perfect ones enter the high-tech production line. At the factory, lobsters are processed using HPP technology. 50,000 psi pressure for a few seconds, helping to preserve freshness without damaging the meat structure. from tail to claw, from body to roe. Each part has its own separate process, cleaned, boiled precisely at the optimal temperature, then manually peeled by skilled hands. Each shrimp tail undergoes at least 4 quality checks before being packaged frozen or vacuum sealed. Once again, HPP technology is applied. No chemicals, no additives, just original freshness and superior shelf life. And it is this rigorous logistics process that is the secret to turning each lobster into a high-value product, conquering even the top restaurants in Europe, Asia, and the most demanding retail chains. Each voyage can bring in millions of dollars, but that's just the beginning. From the ship's hold to the dinner table, the journey of wild lobsters continues to transform into culinary masterpieces, where each claw and each piece of sweet white meat is elevated to a symbol of sophistication and luxury. But it's not just the technology that makes it valuable, it's the speed and precision. From the moment the fish is hauled onto the deck, the clock starts ticking. Every step, from cooling grading processing to canning, must be completed within 72 golden hours to maintain the quality of sashimi and export value. In this video, you'll see how a single fishing trip can generate $1.2 million, not just through volume, but through the investment discipline and ever-evolving spirit of modern fishing. That's why the 72-hour journey with 5 tons of bluefin tuna is more than just a processing procedure. It's a race against time, technique, and the pride of the global seafood industry. Amidst the icy sea where time is not measured in hours, but in breaths of life, Fishermen have less than a morning to bring 5 tons of shrimp ashore, cool and preserve them absolutely. Because if it is just 1 hour late, the shrimp will start to lose its quality. 2 hours, the price will drop. 3 hours, the entire trip worth millions of dollars will be lost. This is not conventional fishing. This is a race against nature, against time, and against every flaw in the global supply chain. Go discover why harvesting 5 tons of cold water shrimp is a $1 million race against time. Lurking at depths of about 650 RX to 1969 feet, where water temperatures are just a few degrees Celsius, cold water shrimp thrive slowly in the ocean's harshest environments. They are smaller than tiger prawns, but stand out with their rich sweetness and firm meat, characteristics that only harsh nature can create. Therefore, cold water shrimp is a sought-after specialty in Northern Europe, Japan, and the United States. With prices that can reach $25 per kilogram, just a 5-ton batch of shrimp can be worth more than $1 million. But that value is extremely fragile. Shrimp only stay fresh for a few hours after being caught. If not frozen immediately, the quality deteriorates rapidly, and with it, the commercial value evaporates with each delay. They are precious gifts from the cold ocean, but to preserve them, humans must race against nature itself. In the cold seas, nature is harsh and unpredictable. Gusts of wind fog and deep currents make locating crayfish extremely difficult. Fishermen only have 3 to 4 golden hours to catch sort and freeze the entire catch right on board. 1 minute late, the freshness is reduced. A few minutes late, the value evaporates. The tide is the most dangerous variable. If you cast your net at the wrong time, the shrimp will drift away and the whole catch can be lost. This is not just fishing. This is a war with nature, where humans can only win with experience, courage, and technology. The reefer fishing vessels are equipped with state-of-the-art sonar systems to locate the shrimp in the deep water. Once hauled aboard, the shrimp are sorted, cleaned, pre-steamed, and sent straight to the blast freezer. All of this happens in a closed process right at sea without going through ports, without any extra steps. Below deck, the hold is kept at sub-zero temperatures, cold enough to lock in the freshness of every piece of meat. Every movement on board is part of a perfectly functioning machine, from the captain setting the course to the refrigeration engineer monitoring the temperature to the workers operating the freezers. Everything has to work together as precisely as a Swiss watch. In the shrimp production chain, every deviation comes at a cost, in cash. Just a drop in freshness can cause the purchase price to drop by 60%. One substandard batch of shrimp, and instantly hundreds of thousands of dollars are gone. But the damage doesn't stop there. A shipment rejected from an export order means loss of reputation, loss of market, and sometimes loss of partners. And when one link slows down, from fishing boats to processing plants to shipping schedules, the entire supply chain comes to a screeching halt. This isn't just about missing the boat. It's about speed precision and the cost of a minute's error. Once you reach shore, the race isn't over, it's just on to the next leg. Cold water shrimp are immediately put into a rigorous processing procedure where every minute carries financial pressure. For fresh shipments, shrimp must be cleaned, sized, and then flash frozen using IQF technology at 40-degree VBRs. Any delay would cause the shrimp to lose freshness, meaning the entire export value would be lost. For high-end orders, cold water shrimp will undergo a deep processing process, multi-step washing, peeling black vein removal, shaping, then freezing, and vacuum packaging. Every step must be absolutely precise, meeting strict standards of hygiene and commercial appearance. From the cold ocean floor to the high-end supermarket shelf, the journey of cold water shrimp depends entirely on one vital factor. The cold chain must be continuous with no broken link allowed. Just 1 hour of delay, 5 tons of shrimp equivalent to $1 million can be lost. And that's why harvesting cold water shrimp is a $1 million race, where every second can mean the difference between success and failure. Each shrimp is the result of a breathless race against time, where just a few minutes of delay can cost millions of dollars. That's why harvesting 5 tons of cold water shrimp is a $1 million race against time. If you find this journey worthwhile, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to discover more stories behind global products. Amidst the icy sea where time is not measured in hours, but in breaths of life. Fishermen have less than a morning to bring 5 tons of shrimp ashore, cool and preserve them absolutely. Because if it is just 1 hour late, the shrimp will start to lose its quality. 2 hours, the price will drop. 3 hours, the entire trip worth millions of dollars will be lost. This is not conventional fishing. This is a race against nature, against time, and against every flaw in the global supply chain. Go discover why harvesting 5 tons of cold water shrimp is a $1 million race against time. Sharks, the ocean's apex predators, are not only vital to the ecosystem, but also a valuable living resource. From fins and meat to liver and cartilage, every part of the shark's body is heavily commercialized in the food, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic industries. With global demand growing, a single adult shark can fetch thousands of dollars. Large-scale fishing trips in international waters can even bring in millions. But these huge profits come with pressures on shark survival. Many countries have tightened regulations banning the exploitation of endangered species, limiting size seasons and catch areas. The industry is now a race between profit and responsibility, between exploitation and conservation. Can humans balance the market and the ocean? Beneath the placid waters of the ocean lies a quiet but potentially multi-million-dollar industry, shark meat and fins. But harvesting this floating treasure is no easy feat. It's a game that requires specialized equipment, a great deal of skill, and sometimes even life. From small 20-60-foot boats that ply the shore to offshore fishing vessels over 100 feet long, equipped with freezers, winches, and modern sonar systems, everything must be ready for the weeks-long hunt in international waters. The most common is the handline method, which uses a super strong rod and line that can hold up to 60 lobes. Some larger vessels employ the long line technique, dropping hundreds of hooks at a time to surround the target. Fishermen rely on experienced migration seasons, fish finders, and even underwater sounds to lure sharks to their bait, often mackerel, tuna, or other sea creatures with a strong fishy smell. When the shark bites, the real battle begins. The fish struggles violently, potentially capsizing the boat or cutting the line if not controlled well. On small boats, the fisherman must patiently wrestle the fish until it tires. On larger boats, a winch helps control individuals weighing up to a ton. Once close, the fish are controlled with a gaff or tail line, then pulled onto the deck by hand or winch. Speedy handling is imperative. Fins are often cut off immediately because of their high value, and internal organs removed to prevent spoilage of the flesh as urea decomposes into ammonia. Depending on the size of the vessel, fish can be frozen on site or stored in ice before being brought back to land. Behind every expensive shark fin is a fierce journey, where technology, risk, and profit always go hand in hand between man and the sea. Under the deep blue waters of the ocean, sharks are not only a symbol of power, but also a multi-million-dollar commodity in the eyes of humans. From meat to fins, especially the fins used in high-end shark fin soup, every part of this apex predator can generate huge profits. Because of this value, shark fishing in international waters has become increasingly popular and controversial. Despite bans from many countries, many fishing vessels continue to collect fins in large quantities, fueling a multi-billion-dollar black market. The result has been a dramatic decline in shark populations, destabilizing the marine ecosystem and threatening the natural food chain. But not everyone ignores the rules. Some legal fishing facilities strictly adhere to quotas and sustainability standards, buying only from controlled sources. Many countries have already tightened oversight, requiring fishing vessels to be fitted with tracking devices and to prove the legal origin of their sharks. At the same time, organizations and businesses are working to develop sustainable alternatives, such as plant-based artificial fins, to reduce pressure on the ocean. So what makes shark fishing so valuable in the high seas? And where does the line lie between legitimate profit and ocean crime? Behind the multi-million-dollar value of shark meat and fins is a closed, strictly controlled processing chain from sea to table. Once the ship arrives at port, the sharks are transported straight to the plant, sorted by size for efficient processing. With legal sources, every part of the fish is utilized to the fullest, from meat to organs, to minimize waste and maximize value. The final product is packaged, clearly labeled, and distributed to the market, ensuring strict compliance with food safety and sustainable fishing standards. Hopefully, the video has helped you better understand why shark hunting in the middle of the ocean can bring in millions of dollars, from the commercial value to the risks and controversies behind it. If you find it interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue following the untold stories of the ocean world. In the deep ocean, where coral reefs form a brilliant maze, one of the world's most spectacular fishing expeditions takes place. Six tons of grouper, a giant predator of the seabed, can bring in more than 1.5 million USD. But what makes this fish so expensive? The answer lies in a secret undersea world where cutting-edge diving technology, extraordinary survival skills, and global trade networks combine to create a multi-million-dollar trade between man and the sea. Go discover. Why? Harvesting. 6 tons of grouper in coral trenches. Pays over $1.5 million. Hidden deep in the reef's treacherous reefs, groupers are giant predators that can grow to be 6.6 feet long and weigh more than 440 pounds, the moon bear of the ocean. They live up to 40 years and only breed for a few weeks each year, making supplies extremely limited. Hidden deep in the reef's treacherous reefs, groupers are giant predators that can grow to be 6.6 feet long and weigh more than 440 pounds, the moon bear of the ocean. They live up to 40 years and only breed for a few weeks each year, making supplies extremely limited. With its white, firm, boneless meat, grouper is a premium ingredient at Michelin-starred restaurants in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Dubai. Some rare breeds, such as the Napoleon grouper, are banned from being caught, causing their value on the black market to skyrocket. Because of the extreme difficulty and the constant risk involved, grouper is a rare commodity. A 6-ton catch can fetch more than $1.5 million, a worthy reward for those brave enough to face the ocean. Behind the million-dollar deal in the middle of the ocean is an entire ecosystem of technology and the art of survival, starting right from the secret coastal grouper hatcheries. Here, parent groupers are strictly selected through DNA analysis and genetic characteristics to breed a new generation with high resistance and optimal growth rate. After hatching, larvae are raised in a closed environment with absolute control over nutrition, temperature, and living density. When large enough, the fish are raised in sea cages or lakes near islands, where the survival pressure is just as harsh as in nature. Each sturgeon cage is not just a cage, it is an entire high-tech ecosystem. Inside, it is integrated underwater surveillance cameras, oxygen sensors, temperature sensors, and even artificial intelligence to closely monitor every movement and every small abnormal sign. Just one sudden change, such as a reversal in currents, an unusual rise in temperature, or a bacterial invasion, can cause a disaster fish die off en masse, and a farm owner can lose hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight. This is not just fish farming. It is a constant watch between man and nature, with risks lurking in every water. Grouper farming takes 2 to 4 years to reach commercial size of about 33 to 66 pounds each. And only those farms that can overcome all risks of disease storms and environmental change have a chance to enter the international market, where 6 tons of grouper can be exchanged for more than 1.5 million USD, becoming a worthy trophy for a dangerous and difficult journey. After nearly a year of nurturing in the deep coral reef, the giant groupers are finally ready to be harvested. As the sun rises or sets coolly, when the water temperature is at its most ideal, the marine farming team begins the meticulous process. Each fish cage is cleverly narrowed, creating a gentle embrace in the middle of the ocean. Groupers weighing tens of kilograms are scooped up one by one with a specialized soft net, then quickly put into an oxygenated seawater tank on board. Every operation is absolutely precise to keep the fish healthy and unscathed, a decisive factor in export value. It is the attention to detail, combined with advanced marine farming techniques, pristine environments, and international shipping networks, that turns 6 tons of grouper into a deal worth more than 1.5 million USD, a living treasure raised from the ocean floor. Immediately after being harvested, the precious groupers are brought to the processing station near the farming area, where every step is carried out with almost absolute precision. Fish are kept in deep seawater tanks or using biocalming techniques which help the body recover and avoid injury. Each fish is then washed with pure seawater or a mild salt solution which brightens the skin and removes the natural slime without damaging the smooth, shiny surface of the skin, a key factor for commercial value. Immediately, the fish is flash frozen at 31 Bordeaux, preserving its texture, sweetness, and firmness, sealing in the freshness of the ocean. Next, the fish is vacuum-packed, labeled with traceability, and shipped to high-end markets such as Japan, Korea, or Singapore. Each grouper is not just a product, but the crystallization of technology, skill, and respect for nature. The reason why 6 tons of fish can bring in more than 1.5 million USD. White, sweet, and chewy meat imbued with the flavor of the deep sea. Grouper is an ingredient favored by top chefs in high-end menus. Whether steamed with soy sauce, Hong Kong style, grilled with salt and chili on a charcoal stove, or cooked in Vietnamese style sour soup, grouper always retains its natural sweetness and characteristic firm texture. Not only delicious, grouper is also rich in protein, low in fat, and contains many minerals that are good for the heart and joints. Therefore, this is not just a dish, but a blend of sophisticated cuisine and nutrients from the ocean. From the deep sea to the dinner table, each grouper is the crystallization of technology, human effort, and global trade networks. The reason why this deal is worth up to 1.5 million USD. If this journey impressed, you don't forget to like and follow the channel to discover other magical stories from the natural world. On a turbulent stretch of the Gulf of Mexico, a team of oystermen are engaged in a breathless race with nature. In the sky, heavy gray clouds signal a storm is brewing. Under the water, more than 100,000 mature oysters are waiting to be harvested. No one can back down, because if the storm passes, everything can be lost. But if you can salvage it before the G hour, that batch of oysters can bring in more than $1 million. The question is, why are these oysters so valuable, and what makes a storm the difference between a total loss and a great victory? Go discover Why harvesting 100,000 oysters before the storm hits is worth $1 million. Each oyster takes 18 to 24 months to mature, raised in clean, stable, mineral-rich water. They are not only creatures of the sea, but also living pearls, absorbing every grain of silt, every flow of nutrients to create a specialty sought after by high-end restaurants around the world. And when all 100,000 of them reach perfection, the storm is approaching. If they are not harvested in time, everything could be washed away, or worse, contaminated by the storm's murky waters. It's not just an ecological risk, it's the risk of losing $1 million in value overnight. This is not just a job. This is an art. This is a science. This is a gamble with nature, where 100,000 oysters carry not only monetary value, but also the dreams, the efforts, and the future of a coastal community. We often think of rainwater as a source of life, but for oysters, it is a silent enemy. When heavy rains fall, fresh water dilutes the salinity in the growing area, and if the salt concentration drops suddenly, the oysters will suffocate in their own shells. Additionally, storm runoff carries mud debris and bacteria. If oysters absorb too many microorganisms, the entire farm will be ordered to temporarily close. That's why veteran oyster farmers know when a storm is coming, you don't hide, you act. With the help of excavators, tugboats, and dozens of divers, they began a lightning race, harvesting 100,000 oysters in less than 48 hours. This isn't just about saving oysters. It's about saving $1 million in revenue, a year's worth of work, and the livelihoods of dozens of families. In less than 6 hours, more than 40 people, 8 boats, and a variety of specialized equipment were mobilized. The goal: harvest 100,000 oysters before the storm hits. Because if not, everything will be lost. Each giant cage weighing more than 661 pounds is pulled up from a depth of more than 32 feet, where the seabed is cold and pitch black. On deck, the sorting and packaging work does not allow for rest. The technical team works continuously for 20 hours under the harsh yellow light and the sound of the waves. The oysters are checked for size, cleaned of sand and mud, and then put straight into cold storage tanks. Every step must be absolutely precise. Just one cage is late, one step is wrong, and the damage can be up to tens of thousands of dollars. But this is not just a quick harvest. It's a fight to protect the fruits of more than 12 months of hard work and effort they put into sustaining a local industry worth millions of dollars a year. Immediately after being brought ashore, the oysters are transported to the processing plant where a high-tech production line is prepared. Here, they undergo a rigorous treatment process, not only to clean off dirt and algae, but also to transform them into world-class products. From the stainless steel rotating washing system where oysters collide to dislodge tiny debris to the high-pressure water jets that blast straight into the shells without damaging them, every step is measured in seconds and precision is absolute. After being cleaned, oysters are put into a smart sorting system separating individuals that meet standards for size, weight, and shell integrity. The highest quality oysters are kept alive, packed in mesh bags with ice or cooling gel, ready to go to 5-star restaurants in New York, Tokyo, or Dubai. Fresh cracked shells are defleshed cold, salted and flash frozen at 40 degrees to preserve texture and flavor. But before leaving the factory, all products must undergo a final round of testing, microbiological testing, heavy metals, testing, and sensory evaluation. Because just one small mistake, a contaminated batch, the whole shipment can be destroyed. At this scale, the risk is not measured in numbers, it is equal to half a year's income for the entire farm. And then, when the storm officially hit, when the white waves washed over the farms and the freezers, trays of oysters still lay cold, ready to leave the dock. What seems small and fragile is the core value of the entire global seafood supply chain. And that is why, every time a storm comes, harvesting 100,000 oysters is not just a race against nature, but a million-dollar mission. From sea to table, the journey of oysters is a miracle. What impressed you the most? Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to discover more surprising culinary stories. Every time the tide rises, fishing boats from Mauritania and Morocco plunge into the rough waters of the Atlantic Ocean, home to the octopus, the ocean's most intelligent and mysterious creature. Intelligent, shape-shifting, and as agile as a sea magician, they are formidable opponents. Each successful hunt can bring in 6 tons of octopus, nearly $900,000, but can also cost lives. This is more than fishing. This is a silent confrontation between humans and the mysterious rulers of the ocean. Go discover how harvesting 6 tons of octopus in rough waters can make $900,000. Octopuses are one of the most difficult seafood species to hunt. Intelligent, superbly camouflaged, and disappearing in the blink of an eye. But that very challenge makes them a valuable trophy in Japan, Korea, and Europe. During peak season, the old wooden boats plow out into the cold depths. There, divers plunge into the sea with tridents and baskets, no oxygen tanks, no safety ropes, just short breaths pounding hearts and a breathless hunt in less than 2 minutes. They followed every faint trace, the disturbed sand, the skid marks on the rocks, a few neatly folded shell signs of an octopus den. With a clean stab and a strong tug, if they were lucky, they pulled up an 8.82-pounder, coiled like a living tornado. But the biggest challenge isn't catching it, it's getting back alive. A sudden wave can capsize the boat. A dive too deep can overwhelm the lungs, and if the sea gets angry, the entire trip can be lost in an hour. Still a successful haul, about 6 tons of octopus, or more than 13,000 pounds, can net crews nearly $900,000 if properly preserved and shipped at the right time. It's a reward for daring skill and a little luck at sea. But behind that number are things that no one can count, cuts from tentacles, nightmares of diving alone in murky water, and nights returning with nothing but rain and sea salt. For them, each kilo of octopus is not just a commodity, but a testament to courage to survival, and to a belief that the ocean is always cruel, but also knows how to give gifts to those who dare to push the limits. As the waves crash against their boats, fishermen remain steadfast in their pursuit of a silent treasure, the octopus. This elusive, hard-to-find and hard-to-preserve creature can bring in nearly $1 million in just one trip if everything is done correctly. Still, hundreds of teams venture out to sea each year, not just for the money, but for the thrill of conquering the ocean, of pulling a deep-sea monster out of the water. For them, it is a mission, a legacy of a profession passed down from generation to generation, where courage, skill, and faith in the sea converge into the only thing that can buy survival: human bravery against nature. Because in this world, there are only two choices: either surrender to the ocean or tame it for a fortune. As soon as they are pulled from the seabed, the octopuses are processed quickly to preserve their freshness. They are immediately put into cold storage or placed in large ice boxes on board the ship, where the temperature is strictly controlled to prevent decomposition from the very first minutes. When fully loaded, the boat immediately returns to port, where traders and purchasing facilities are waiting to collect the spoils from the ocean. On shore, the octopus is washed with seawater to remove sand, slime, and impurities. They are then sorted by size. The larger ones are kept whole for high-end dishes, while the smaller ones are processed according to the specific needs of each market. The octopus' next journey takes place in processing facilities, where every step is meticulously and precisely performed. Each octopus is turned upside down, its internal organs, ink sac, and inedible parts are completely removed, ensuring purity and the highest standards of food safety and hygiene. Some special batches are also pre-boiled in boiling water for a precise time to create attractive color, maintain natural crispness, and extend shelf life. After that, the entire product is put into the system, quick freezing or deep freezing at 40 degrees Celsius to lock the freshness and preserve the original flavor of the ocean. In the final stage, the octopus is packed in vacuum packaging, fully labeled with traceability information and production date. All are standardized to be ready for the next journey, launching in the domestic market or exporting to demanding markets such as Japan, Korea, and Europe, where octopus is not only food, but also a symbol of freshness and top quality. The worker then turns the head upside down to remove the internal organs, a technique that requires dexterity and speed. Getting 6 tons of octopus in the middle of the ocean is not easy, but turning them into perfect sashimi slices is even more difficult. Each one is cleaned with coarse salt, the head turned, the organs and ink glands removed, a meticulous process to preserve purity. Depending on the preparation method, octopus can be sliced raw to keep its crispness and sweetness, or blanched quickly and then shocked to create firmness, softness, and a naturally patterned skin. Octopus sashimi is more than just a dish. It's a combination of technique, freshness, and courage in the ocean. And that's why 6 tons of octopus can bring in nearly $1 million. What impressed you the most about the journey to hunt down 6 tons of octopus? Bringing back up to 900,000 USD, leave a comment, like, and follow to not miss the next amazing journey at the bottom of the ocean.